Hey, Bulls and Bears, what is happening? It is Monday, August 14th, 2023. We've got a lot of financial economic news to get into today. First of all, let's jump over to Hawaii. We all know what happened over there with the fires. Something kind of disturbing is happening right now. There's a lot of different theories out there on why, but I think it's just greed. So these victims that lost their homes in Hawaii, many of them are already getting calls. It's only been a short time since the fires. People a lot of times lost their family members, lost their homes, of course. Entire properties disintegrated in the fire. But they're getting calls a lot of times from investors asking to sell their lots, to sell their properties to these investors only in a few days after this disaster, right? So it's in really bad taste. Some people are really disgusted by it here. And here's someone on social media that's been posting there and very upset and actually crying and really upset that anyone, including investors, would call and harass these people. Now, if you ask the investors, they're probably saying, oh, these people need help. Maybe they don't want to be in the area anymore, so we're offering to help them by buying their property from them in as is condition, which is basically dirt and ash for many of these homes. So, of course, there's two sides to every story, but the people that are getting the calls, a lot of them are very, very upset at the timing and the lack of consideration at this time. So, I'd like to hear your opinion on it. Is it too soon? Is this just awful that investors are doing this? Or could there be people that were victims here that lost their home, at least in the fire, maybe lost a lot more? But is this maybe a bright spot? Maybe they'll be able to sell their home in as is condition or sell the land if they don't have their home. And that would be a financial benefit during this time when a lot of people are struggling. I think it's definitely too soon for investors to be calling, but that's business. And there's people that profit from funerals. There's people that profit from people passing away. So how can you say that this is, um, way too soon? But on the other hand, I can see the point. I mean, if you're mourning, the last thing you're probably thinking about is this. But no matter what position you're in, you're going to have a financial cost here. These people that choose to stay there and rebuild their homes, how long is it going to take to rebuild the homes when you have upwards of close to 3,000 homes that got lost? You might even be talking about years to rebuild the home now, considering there's so many in that area and all the goods and supplies that are needed to go over to Hawaii. There could be big delays in shipping, and we know the supply chains aren't the best right now, anyways. So there could be people looking to just get rid of their land and just cut their losses. But anyways, please let me know what you think down in comments about that whole situation. Now, I wanted to talk about this interview. This came out a few weeks ago, but it's making a lot of headlines on other websites where they're talking about this interview. And Peter Schiff basically putting it out there that all banks are insolvent, kind of like you hear from this channel quite often. If you look at the real balance of cash on hand at the banks versus how many loans they have out there, they are insolvent. So he is correct in his assessment. The question is, how much digital cash will they just inject into the banks to keep these banks operational, even if a massive amount of loans go bad? So this prediction out there that all banks are to fail and that Jerome Powell is going to resign, interesting prediction. Could it happen? Absolutely. Based on what I've seen in the past.
Let's talk about protecting your wealth. The US dollar has lost 85% of its purchasing power since the 1970s, when the dollar was decoupled from gold, and the government seems bent on continuing the tradition. From now until the next elections, the government can print as much money as they want. The last time they did that, inflation went up 9%. This means one thing: the security of your future and your family's future is all in your hands. Make sure you freeze the value of the wealth that you're holding. Invest in gold with Noble Gold Investments. Gold is the one asset that has proven to withstand recession, inflation, and just about all economic threats. Noble Gold Investments is here to help you if you want to invest in gold. You will also get a 24 karat 1/4 ounce gold standard coin for free. Go to bullboomgold.com now. That's bullboomgold.com, or simply call 877-646-5347. Noble Gold is the only gold company I trust. Link down in the description of this video.
I don't see that happening. I think they're just going to prop up a select few mega banks. I don't see any chairman resigning. I don't think that no matter how bad they do as far as their job trying to control inflation and putting rates where they should be to control inflation and all the monetary policy, no matter how bad they mess up or you could say mess up, no matter how bad they do, just whether it's on accident or on purpose, I don't think any of them are ever going to lose their jobs or have to resign. It would be interesting to see that happen, but I just don't see it based on what's happened in the past. Now, could something else happen where we start seeing some justice and maybe the gold backed currency gets rolled out with all these other nations here that are talking about really taking it to the dollar and ditching the dollar? Absolutely. Some big changes could happen. Will it happen in our lifetimes? Well, yeah, I think big things are happening. But as far as what Schiff is predicting here, all banks to fail, that would be definitely a very shock moment there. That's something we haven't seen, in probably hundreds of years. Actually, never. We've never seen all banks fail. So he's going to the extreme here, all banks to fail. Uh, it's possible. All banks are insolvent, but behind all this, we have the money printers behind this. I don't think they're going to let that happen. Next, let's talk about this Wall Street Journal article. More Americans ending up homeless at a record rate. So some people say, of course, homelessness is getting worse. We know that. We can see it. But it's not just that it's getting worse. It's always getting worse. But the pace of people going homeless is accelerating. So instead of 20,000 a year, now we're seeing 30,000 a year. And then next year, will it be 50,000 a year? I mean, the pace at how fast it's getting worse is accelerating. So it's pretty interesting. And until the cost of living uh, comes under some sort of control, we're going to continue to see things get worse. Now it's interesting because you would think there'd be some sort of mass vacancies emerge as more people can't afford rent, can't afford their mortgage. You would think that more homes would be put on the market. So what's happening? Well, we see population growth just exploding. So we still have too many people, not enough homes. People want to come to the U.S. from all different parts of the world. Uh, Apparently, their countries are worse than it is here. But you look at the cost of living here, and you wonder what's going on in these other countries to make it worse than what's going on here. Well, yeah, a lot of other countries are under financial collapse right now. It's not really being reported that widely out of the media. But we see riots in France. We see so many countries under economic collapse. And even as bad as it is here with the cost of living, when you see poverty and mass starvation, of course, you're going to have a lot of people coming to this country. And that means that there's going to be demand, even though people are going broke and can't afford their rents, can't afford their mortgages, there's still going to be more and more demand because of the huge influx of population. Next, let's talk about corporate bankruptcies. You see, I got my headset on, by the way. There's a big fan running in the background, so I hope this eliminates some of the background noise. Corporate bankruptcies now surge past the 2022 numbers. We're not even halfway through, barely halfway through August, so barely halfway through the middle point of the year, and we've already surpassed 2022's totals as far as corporate bankruptcies. So how much worse is it going to be? Is this going to be an all-time high year? Well, things are accelerating to the downside, that's for sure. So we're going to keep an eye on it here for you. And if we look at a chart here, we see 402 year to date. This is through the end of July. There's a couple more to add for August. So we're right on pace with what we saw back in 2020, which many people thought 2020 was actually the worst that we're going to see. Well, we're going to surpass 2020 here. And we're going all the way back to 2010 as far as the total number of corporate bankruptcies. And of course, that was financial crisis era. But I continue to believe that it's going to get worse as we go into the end of the year. The slowdown that we see typically in the fall and in the winter for economic activity is going to hit a lot more businesses. And yes, we'll keep an eye on it here and see if we end up breaking that record here before the end of the year. Let's talk about more layoffs here, and specifically in the mortgage industry. Des Moines Register, Wells Fargo lays off 80 more workers from downtown Des Moines office. I saw a news report earlier that refi rates in some areas as high as 8%. So the refi market has basically crashed and halted to a complete standstill. And these people are going to have to find new occupations. Maybe down the road, rates will get cut again, and you'll see a big influx of new demand for new loan officers, new real estate agents. Real estate agents quitting in droves. Same thing we saw in the prior housing bust. And the economic slowdown that's going to result in all these people losing their jobs. We've yet to see this, right? Remember, there's a lag time, this year being so bad for corporate bankruptcies. We're yet to see the full fallout from this. This could be towards the end of the year, could be early 2024. And will it just be a slow motion collapse, or will we something trigger? Will we see something trigger this whole economic collapse to happen all at once, like mass bank failures, like Schiff and some others have been forecasting? We'll have to see. That's why I always encourage everybody to be ready for the collapse. I'm not saying there's going to be a collapse, but always be ready for it. Just like in a vehicle, you want to wear your seatbelt. You want to be ready for a crash. Hopefully, it never happens. But this slow motion collapse for sure is happening, and it's accelerating. Let's get an update on poverty and rising crime as the economy continues to crumble. Out of Business Insider, hundreds of government employees in San Francisco, of all places, no surprise, told to work from home due to high levels of crime in the area. So now people are choosing to work at home because of the crime. I'm sure it's going to get a lot worse there. Not much is being done to stop this. We showed you, one or two reports ago about dozens of people running into a Nordstrom's in Los Angeles. And the people shopping there were just shocked. They saw all these people run in there. It's not being stopped. So obviously they're not being strict enough on this type of crime. We already have the world's largest prison population. Many people argue there's not enough room in the prisons to arrest all these people. So what's going to happen because of this? Well, it's going to get more dangerous out there. So you might want to even look around and check twice about the areas that you shop at now, which is pretty sad to say here in the United States of America, land of the free, home of the debt slaves. All right, folks, so please let me know what you think down in comments about the Maui investors coming in to buy Hawaii property so soon after this disaster. What do you think about the rising homelessness? Not just that it's rising; it's been rising for many years, but the pace that it's rising is pretty shocking. The pace is how much worse it's getting. Also, what do you think about the corporate bankruptcies? Will it be the worst year? Will it be the worst year in history? Please let me know down in comments. Everybody, thanks for watching. Appreciate you supporting this channel. Please give us a like, subscribe if you like what we talk about here to keep us going, keep us operation, help us bring you more updates like this one. Have a great one, everybody. Bye for now. Peace.